Hi, welcome back to Immortal Idiots. We have Annie in the studio here today, and we're going to talk about us.
You have such a good voice.
How do you feel about that? Is that something you'd like to speak about today?
Talk about us?
Me? You mountain leer cat.
Choose your words very wisely right now.
You
Be careful. My bosses are listening to this.
You absolute animal.
Robert.
You wildebeest.
Okay, I like that one better. That one doesn't sound that bad.
Kangaroo Jack without the tail.
Oh, no.
That was a good movie. I forgot about that movie. Such a good
Kangaroo
movie.
Jack?
Yeah.
I don't think I actually ever watched that. You kind of just unlocked a memory for me right there.
Yeah, dude. It exploded CGI.
I vaguely remember the commercials and the cover art for the DVD.
I never remember his name, but he's in Blackish now.
I should watch that.
What's
show.
his name?
It sounds like a really good show. I think it's won a couple awards.
What's his name? He's in Agent Cody Banks as well.
Oh my gosh, with frickin'
Well, he's in the second
Frankie
Agent.
Muniz?
Yeah, he's in the second
one.
one.
He was Cody Banks, right?
Wow. Well, he wasn't. Frankie Muniz was Cody Banks. The guy I'm talking about is Anthony Anderson.
Right.
He was in Kangaroo Jack. Great film.
I don't know who he is.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. Why'd you even bring up Kangaroo Jack?
Oh, sorry, because it's all my fault. You called me a wildebeest and just kind of kept going.
You are a wildebeest.
We're in Australia.
I can't do an Australian
with
accent.
Kangaroos.
Hey, mate.
It's pretty close.
Want some veggie, mate?
I think a lot of my Australian kind of mixes in with some British, so it just kind of sounds bad.
Fair
Whatever.
enough.
Anyways,
Fair enough.
we are here to talk about us. We didn't really introduce ourselves in the last podcast as far as our names go.
That's true. We're very new at this. We're trying to get better, though.
We're trying.
We're hoping to get better with every episode.
Mm-hmm. So we're a couple. I'm Annie, and that's Robert.
Okay, we're back.
Sorry, we had some background noise that needed to be turned off.
Yeah, we did. It was driving me nuts. I could hear it all through my headphones.
You know, I didn't really hear it until you said something, and I was like, oh, yeah, I can definitely hear that in my headphones.
Yeah, it was bad. Couldn't take it anymore.
Whatever. Back to what I was originally saying. I'm Annie, and sitting across from me is Robert. And Robert is my boyfriend.
Yes, I am.
And I am your girlfriend.
You told me to reserve myself, so.
Oh, sorry. We're just friends. We're best friends. I've known him for
72 years.
72 years. Mm-hmm. And we're just best friends. And that's it. Don't say anything else.
Okay. But what we're here to talk about today is more about what the podcast is going to be about between me and Annie. Mm-hmm. And me and Annie are just going to really kind of just go over just random topics pretty much, and maybe sometimes maybe a little more structured if we find a good topic that we want to talk about, and pretty much just
we do have some notes for questions that we want to ask each other.
That's true. We do have
we're a little more structured this time.
We have a few notes that we want to talk about tonight, but basically it's just two harebrained idiots recording themselves to put into the ether and see what comes back.
Hopefully something good.
Well, we'll see.
I've already had a couple people say that they're enjoying our podcast.
Wee.
Wee. Oh la la.
So if you have a talking point that you want to say, feel free to say it. I'll pull up mine because I don't have mine up yet.
Well, I kind of wanted the point of this episode to kind of be more centered around us and kind of who we are personally. Yeah. You can kind of gather personality traits. Obviously, Robert is very much a comedian, which I love. It's my favorite thing about you because you're just so funny all the time. I'll just cry laughing at some random thing that you said, and it's great.
Well, thank you.
But some of these questions kind of probe I don't want to say a deeper response because they're not very deep questions, but kind of experiences that have formed the way that you are.
Yeah.
Things that you've done or why.
Did your parents ever accidentally leave you at a store?
No, they never left me at a store. I did get lost in a Kohl's once when I was maybe like 3. I walked away from my mom because I saw something and I wanted to show it to her. And I turned around and she was gone. And I didn't freak out until like the 5th time I passed an aisle with a lady in it that I kept thinking was my mom. And then eventually she came up to me and she's like, "Are you looking for your mom?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they
She's
had,
like, "Are you lost?" What gave it away? My terrified look?
well, what gave it away is that my mom obviously realized that I was gone. She went to the front and they locked the doors, had people at the doors.
So they thought you were kidnapped?
Yeah, and announced over the PA, "Missing child, wearing this." I don't remember any of that. And the lady found me. So the only real reason I think that, well, yes, I did have a terrified look on my face, but there's also a missing child. So she was a hero. My mom was like, okay.
That's amazing.
I locked down a whole Kohl's.
So I'll tell 2 stories. So I went to, around when I was like maybe 6, 7, maybe, I was like youngish, like no more than like 4 feet high, right? I was a tiny, I was a tyke, right?
Okay.
And we went to the Monster Jam, and we went to the part of the Monster Jam where you get to go down into the pit, and walk around all the cars and whatnot, and they have like little booths set up for a while, and you get to meet the drivers and whatnot. I don't remember any of that. All I remember is that I walked out of the little booth area, and I was with the wrong family.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was holding the hand of the wrong person.
Did they know?
They didn't know either.
Oh, my God.
Like, unless they played it off and they were trying to kidnap me or something.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember turning around and my mom, hearing my name, and I turned around and saw my mom. I was like, oh, you're not my mom. And then I just turned around. I just, like, let go, and I walked back. And then
you just walked? I would have been sprinting.
And then maybe like a couple years later, my mom like left me at Walmart. She forgot she brought me.
Jesus.
And this is like, I mean, I was young. Like, I didn't have a cell phone until I was like maybe 14.
Same.
And I had to go up to the Walmart like PA people, and I was like, "Can you call like?" Oh, I shouldn't say her name. Crap.
Just bleep it out.
I'll bleep it out. But I was like, can you call my mom? And they're like, "Oh yeah, is she here?" I was like, I think so. I don't know. So they called her. We waited like 15 minutes. She didn't come, and the lady had this look on her face like,
"There's a child.
What am I gonna do?
Call the cops?"
Oh no.
Question mark?
And so I was like,
she's her son at the store.
And then she was like, "So like, do you know her number?" I was like, "Of course I know her number. I'm like 14. I'm like 10. Like, of course I can remember 8 numbers, right?" Like,
I had my mom's number memorized because I kept locking myself out of the house in middle school, and I'd always have to call her so she'd open the door for me.
It wasn't like Walmart was that far away from where we lived at the time, but I remember my mom got the call and she was like, "Oh my God, I was just calling for you when I got home. I was so mad that you weren't here to help me bring stuff in." I was like, "Yeah, you left me here." It's like, "You left me at Walmart, dude."
Where did she think you went?
I don't know. She thought she had just gotten home and she was calling out to me in the house to bring in bags.
She took you.
She had no recollection of that. Yeah, dude.
Whoa.
Sometimes my mother is a brain dead idiot.
Don't say that.
I love her dearly, but I swear to God, like, definitely through her like formative years, she was dropped hard as a baby.
Terrible. Just get so mad at you.
I don't even care because it's funny. Love you, Mom.
I love you. God, I shouldn't be laughing. It's terrible. A brain dead idiot, dude. Okay, well, moving on.
Just knocking around 2 brain cells. She's a lot smarter than I make her sound.
I don't know if I was.
She's
like
an absolute champion, let's be real. She had to deal with me her whole life.
After that whole segment, absolutely. I give her a lot of credit. You just called her a brain dead idiot.
Well, she kind of is sometimes, but I love her.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Okay, Do you have another question?
Yeah.
Was that one of your original questions, or was that just one that popped
No,
up?
no. I have another one about parents. Did your parents ever have any weird rules growing up? Like, for example, my dad, like every time we went to the beach, and this isn't like a weird rule, it's just like a weird
thing that your family did.
Weird thing that he did. So like we couldn't go, like he didn't want us to go too far out, even though like we were champion swimmers.
Sure.
He would be like like every so we'd have to always pay attention to where he was, because every so often he would look out at us, and he would hit his chest right below his like his titties.
Right.
And that's where we would have to stand up and show him that we weren't too deep.
Oh, gotcha.
So like that the lake undertow wouldn't get us. Like
well,
we went to fucking Pontiac Lake Beach, Cigarette Butt Beach in Michigan, and just fucking.
You should bleep that out too.
No. Like, I don't live anywhere near there.
Okay.
But, like, it's just, there's no way. Like, what was going to get me? Some seaweed?
Bro,
I'm pretty sure the toxic waste that's in that water,
I can't even.
like, is doing more harm to me now than it did any time back
like
then.
Moss and algae getting in between my toes.
It's just a disgusting
It just,
sound.
like, makes me want to throw up. It
it's just
like,
not a good thing.
It just freaks me out. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. I'm not really a big fan of lakes. I do like I like the ocean. I don't like going far in the ocean. I really like to just drift in the ocean.
I'm just kind of like a waist deep girly in the ocean.
Yeah,
I'm not full-bodied.
Like in the ocean, like it's actually scary because like you can like take one step in there and then like boom, jellyfish. Then your day's ruined. You gotta have like a lifeguard pee on you. I'm not.
Oh
into,
yeah, that's right.
I'm not into waterworks, dude.
I don't actually know if that's.
I'm not
real.
into waterworks.
Maybe it is.
I'm pretty sure there's something in urine that helps the burn.
The sting.
It just helps. It helps the burn. I don't think it neutralizes anything. I just think it helps the burn.
Sterile.
The jellyfish poison. It's the king jellyfish jelly from SpongeBob. Okay. No. Stop.
Am I gonna get copyrighted for that?
I don't know. I have no idea. Don't do that. I'm gonna leave it in, but
Okay.
we'll see.
It's all right. If we get copyrighted, maybe it will just be that little bleep. What is your dream career or dream job?
I think I've had a few over the last couple of years. I definitely wanted to be a detective at one point. I thought I'd be really good at that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But only because I could find things really easily.
Mm.
Like I could never find things that like related to me that I needed to find. But like if you lost something, I could find that.
Like you mean like a physical object or like an
Yeah.
emotion?
Physical object.
Okay.
Did you say emotion?
Yeah, emotion.
Oh, why
Like-
no.
I found a missing piece of you.
I'm a detective for emotions.
Dude, you're like psych.
Oh my God. He's lost his depression.
Or-
I have to find it.
Not psych. What was the other one?
Dun dun.
No.
Dun 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 dun. Emotion detective.
No. What? Mr.
He's
Bean
gonna
was in it.
detect your emotions.
No, what was that one show?
He was a psychic.
Psych.
He was a psychic detective.
No, but like, what about the other one where Mr. Bean was in it?
Oh, you mean? Okay, that wasn't Mr. Bean.
No,
That was
Uh-oh.
Monk.
Yeah, now I'm getting the faces correct.
Yeah, that's the guy from 13 Ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah. He does kind of look like Mr. Bean, though.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh no, there it is. There's the face.
Yep.
I just put the wrong face. to your name.
Yep. I know that.
Monk. Anyways.
Yeah,
detective.
I definitely wanted to be a detective at one point. But I think over the years, so there's three things. I wanted to be a detective when I was little.
Mhm.
And then around high school, I decided that I wanted to get into like movies. I wanted to be like either a production or a director,
Mhm.
and that failed hard. And then never even got to attempt that. Maybe one day. Still, I would still like to give that a shot.
You want to do something in like media production?
Yeah,
in a
I think I just like it. It's just fun. It's very creative, and I think
Yeah.
it's an easy outlet for me. But now I want to be a comedian,
Mhm.
really badly. We'll see. It's not going too great, but
You just gotta book a show.
just gotta put the hours in is what I gotta do. That's really
that.
what it is.
You just need the practice.
right now I just don't have the time, and then like the job I have now is just so mentally taxing that when I get home I really don't want to. It's just hard. It's just hard to be funny when you're exhausted.
I feel that. I definitely feel that.
But what's your dream job?
I guess my dream job, I've had a couple like you in the last couple of years, but a lot of them require like schooling that I just don't have the money for or really the patience.
Bro, if you're broke, just say so.
I am broke and I am saying so. I just like, I don't want to take out more student loans because drowning myself in debt is not the answer.
No, it is not.
Especially for an education that I might, dislike in 20 years.
Or it might be phased out too, depending on what it is. But what is it?
I've always wanted to do something in finance. Like, I've always wanted to be good at finance, but I feel like I never gave myself the chance to be good at finance.
Okay.
And, like, I wanted to be, like, a financial analyst or, like, an accountant or an economist, I think. I feel like if I learned that in high school. What are you doing?
I can hear like static right now.
Oh, I don't hear any static.
That's okay. I think it's my headphones. I'm just fixing my stuff. Keep
Oh,
going.
okay. I'll start over. I wanted to go into finance. I've always been interested in financial things. I like statistics. I like statistical reporting, which I feel like a lot of people would absolutely hate doing. But I do statistical reporting and analysis at my job currently, and I really enjoy it. I really like analyzing the uptrends and the downtrends and of, the clinics that I have at the time. And I don't know, I just really enjoy it. I did originally in high school, my exit presentation was a thing that we had to do when we were in high school, which is essentially like pick a career, and then you have, I think it was 13 or 14 skills that you have to prove that you learned in school that helps you towards that job.
Mine was different. We didn't have to do that. We just had to choose the career and then, like, basically write what we, like, how we would achieve getting to that career. Like, what we would do down the line after high school to get there.
Okay.
We didn't have to do, like, show 14 things we learned in school that shows why.
Well, no, it was like 14 set skills. Like, you didn't ever save your work because they did that.
No, we saved our work, but it was never like in that.
It definitely was.
I don't think it was. Mine was more. I know I'm being serious. Like mine
Robert,
was.
for context, Robert graduated a year ahead of me.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time believing that because they did that when I was a freshman and I had a senior in one of my classes present in the exact same format. But if it was different for you, I mean.
Yeah, I feel like mine didn't have at least the way I did mine. It had no bearing towards that.
Yeah, I think.
But that could have been because the job that I was doing was director, and none of the stuff besides 2 of my classes.
Yeah.
Really provided any information for me on that.
I mean, a lot of the skills was like math skills, teamwork, communication. It was like basic like life socialization, like logistical skills.
Yeah.
That you were supposed to gain while you were in high school, and all of that had to be proved by presenting work that you completed that you got a good score on to show that you were actively learning the skill in school. And then you picked 3 that you felt best were represented in your strongest.
That's what I did. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're right then.
Okay.
As always.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
But
you just validated the heck out of me, dude.
But I'm just gonna say now, like, that now that I'm very far removed from that high school, that shit was pointless. I think that was the most pointless thing in the world, to have random parents come in
yeah, that was
and
weird.
Fucking like critique you on what you learned at this shit high school.
I volunteered to do mine in front of a business foundations class, which was just a class full of freshmen.
That would have been better. I would have done mine there.
It made me feel better. Like, obviously there was more kids. It was like a 25 kid class. But it was better than being in front of 4 adults that critique the heck out of you when they only hear a 10-minute presentation showing very little of your personality and your drive towards something.
I was in front
Especially
of, like,
if you don't care about the project.
I think I was in front of two soccer moms and, like, some dude. And I just remember crushing it. And they were like, "Oh my God, you want to be a director?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is how I'm gonna do it, and this is where I'm gonna go."
Just did this whole presentation.
It just didn't work out, like, money wise for me. Like, it was just too expensive.
Agreed.
But I, like, crushed it, and they were like, "Wow, wow," and I was just like, "Yeah, can I go?" Like, I got a half a day.
Bro, I gotta go.
Like, I'm looking to leave. I got like I didn't want to do this to begin with. Like,
Nobody.
I'm
did.
a senior. I got a half day today. I had
it.
skinnies, like, which are like 30-minute classes.
45.
They were amazing, and, like, I got the fuck out of there.
Good for the ADHD kids,
right?
Going back, I will go back originally to what we were talking about, but yeah, I remember that day I had to do my presentation. I was supposed to do it right at like 7:30 in the morning, and I was late that day. And I wasn't late to my presentation. I was like 10 minutes. I made it to school like 10 minutes before I was supposed to start. And it was also pouring rain, so I had so much water in my shoes. Well,
squeak.
I go to the class that I'm supposed to be in.
You're all soggy.
I can, like, feel the water splashing in my heels in the base of my foot. It was terrible.
Would you walk through every puddle before you went into the school?
Yeah, because I had to park. Luckily, I didn't have to park in the upper building parking lot. I had to park, like, farther towards the soccer field.
Okay.
I usually would get there at, like, 7 o'clock.
But I mean,
so I had, like, a primo spot.
I think the point I'm trying to make here is, like, you could have not stepped in the puddles.
But I get there, and I get to the class, and there's another girl there. And I was like, oh, hey. And a girl that I knew, I don't remember who it was. But I was like, oh, hey, like, are you presenting too? And she was like, I'm the only one presenting. I was like, And I talked to the teacher, and the teacher was like, oh, yeah, like, I only have her presenting, not you. And I was like, are you joking?
What's going on?
I think I went to the front office. I think that's what I did. And I asked about it, and they were like, oh, no, they moved you to present at this Business Foundations class at the end of the day.
No one told me.
No.
Classic this high school, am I right?
I was frustrated because I was, like, so anxious, like, the entire morning.
Yeah.
And then I had to be anxious the rest of the day. Like, I think I elected for it to be in the morning. And the fact that it got changed on me, I was so mad because I just wanted to get it done and over with. And instead, I had to wait. Literally, like, it was my last class of the day. I think it was my math class.
Jeez.
And then I was like, all right.
Just sweating bullets all day.
It's 1:45, 45 minutes before class ends. I gotta go.
Yeah.
So.
Jeez.
It was dumb. Anyway, going back. So my whole entire senior presentation was based on the career that I chose, which was becoming a financial analyst.
Nice.
So, I didn't really pursue that because, to be quite honest, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And that was, like, the second ranking in that test that we took to, like, kind of determine where you would fall for, like, a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, I think my first choice was, like, a hotel manager.
I just want to manage just so many Best Westerns.
I can, like, see myself
I want to be
a
GM of a Best Western.
Because I'm, like, good at customer service, but I don't think I could deal with that kind of customer service. Like, just imagine, like, a family of 6 that's exhausted, and I'm, like, trying to get their shit together, and it just, no. At, like, 3 in the morning, like, no, I don't. Sorry.
Just knowing you, like,
I feel like an anxious, chaotic mess.
I'm just, like, viewing you as, like, this, like, elitist, like, GM of, like, of like a Hampton Inn. You're just like, oh, you don't have a reservation?
I'm sorry, but this third party did not save your reservation. I can't give you the room it's taken for tonight, but I can get you in tomorrow.
I'm sorry, we don't accept kayak reservations.
I'm sorry, we don't take American Express. Do you have MasterCard or Visa? We'll take that. The pool is also open, but make sure that you take a shower before you enter.
We only take Speedway Rewards member cards here. Are you a Speedway Rewards member?
If you have a Speedway gift card, you can use that towards the reimbursement of your room.
Do you guys still have your Sears credit card? That's the only thing that works on our system.
We're linked with Sears, and it's 2023. Sears has gone bankrupt, but we still use their cards.
You should still be able to use their credit cards, though.
This is not a money scam. Anyways, yeah. So like my first one was a hotel manager.
It's not. I don't think it's like a bad gig.
No,
considering that like you could essentially
it just takes
move
a
around.
lot of, like,
you could just move around like the
people-pleasing.
world doing that.
I think at the time I was a big people pleaser, and I still kind of am now, but I'm definitely not at the level I was when I was in high school. So I can see how that kind of like was a thing for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I was definitely not a people pleaser in high school.
No,
100%
not a people
not.
pleaser now.
I don't know. I kind of am.
It depends the situation.
Yeah.
In some aspects of your life, yeah.
But in high school, I definitely was
You're like,
not.
no, I remember that.
I was like, I'm 18. Go fuck yourself. I'm a legal adult. I remember I was trying to leave high school one day, and I don't remember. I don't want to call them like they were hall monitors, but I think they had a different name.
Just security.
Yeah, and he was like, "Did your mom call?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, you're gonna need your mom call." I was like, "I'm 18, bro."
My mom was out.
Like, I've been waiting my life to be like, "Nah, I'm a senior. I'm an adult. I can leave." And he was like,
Adult.
"You're gonna still need to have your mom call." And I was like, "I'm gonna leave."
See, I would have never done that. I wouldn't do that now.
I just didn't understand. I was like, all I ever wanted was that, right? Like, I knew I'd be 18 in my 18 years old. No.
Oh, okay.
I knew I'd be 18 years old in my senior year.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
so was I.
And I knew that like because of that, because I am now an actual adult, I could just be like, I'm leaving, goodbye, and they still treated me like I was like 14, like, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that part of it because I was like, dude, like I'm just going home. I have no I didn't have classes.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you're leaving." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just leaving like 15 minutes earlier. Like I'm just going to go cuz I want to leave. Cuz I don't want to sit here at lunch. I want to go to like Taco Bell, dude." Like he's like, "Well, you still going to need your mom." It was just very stupid. It was just very dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a weird thing to fight me on at like your age, sir. It's like you clearly see what I'm trying to do. And, like, you're trying to make it seem, like, sinister. Like, I'm trying to, like...
Well, it's definitely, I mean...
disobey something.
Regardless on if you had classes or not. Like, if you were an OTEC, yeah, but I don't... What... Are you, like, just...
I didn't have... I had, like, all my classes at the beginning of the day, and then I had free periods the rest of the...
What was your free period?
I didn't have anything.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing at you.
Yeah, because so like they switched it up like the semester afterwards. It was just something they couldn't fix at the time.
Oh, okay.
So like I had like 2 skinnies. Then I had and then from like 1 to what was it like 1, like it was either noon to 2 or whatever whenever we got out, and it was empty. Like I didn't have anything. I was like, I'm not going to sit in the library. I'm not going to hang out in this shitty lunchroom.
Okay, well then I understand what the point of wanting to leave, because like, you don't have a class. Why would you want to be there?
I didn't
Unless you're
do.
studious and want to study in the library.
But
I can see them being like, okay, you're missing class, you're missing education. But
yeah, it wasn't like I was trying to like skip out on anything.
Gotcha.
I didn't have anything to do.
Gotcha. Okay, anyways, backtracking. I wanted to be a financial analyst, something financial, but I didn't. And I went to accounting at my local college, and then I backed out of that, and then I went to become a physical therapist assistant. And I completed that whole program, clinicals and everything, held a job for 2 months. After like 6 months of clinical rotations, I held a job for 2 months, and then they laid me off because they hired me to be part-time over the weekend.
Okay.
And then, and then they laid me off to just being contingent. And I was like, I don't like this job. I've never liked this job. I've never had a passion like a lot of my classmates. I cried so many times on whether or not I should continue, and I felt pressured by my teachers to continue. And I finished, and I've not been a PTA in almost 4 years. And I don't regret the degree because I feel like I have a lot of knowledge in the job that I have now that most people do not in a different perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I also feel like because of that, whatever that change was that we talked about a while ago, you don't make as much. You wouldn't make as much money either. You also have to be a physical therapist as well to even like really.
It depends. Like now, at the time, well, let me try and see here. At the time, it was really hard to find a job.
Gotcha.
And then COVID hit.
Well, clearly you were on part-time on weekends.
And, well, I was part-time on weekends, but I was making like the equivalent of $12 an hour if I was full-time.
Yeah.
I was only working 3 days, but I was making like $24.50 or something like that. And then they wanted to keep me at that rate being contingent, and I was like, no. Like, because contingent is solely based on if they need coverage.
Yeah.
And they might not always need coverage. And I also don't want to work
So,
like
maybe
7 days a week.
I was going to say, on top of that, like, you might only work 1 day out of that 7 days a week, and then you made, what, $24?
Based on experience, PTAs and physical therapists and PTs can make up to, like, $30 to $50 an hour for being contingent.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm not going to take a $20 pay cut.
I rejected their offer, and I went and worked front desk for the company, at a clinic for the company I work for now. And then I left that job to be a front desk receptionist at a physician's office because I just made more money there.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere, and my mood was just different. I mean, I loved all the people that worked there, and I wish I was still in contact with a lot of them now, but I just was not happy there anymore. I just felt like my work wasn't being appreciated. So then I left, and then here I am. I did the physician's office for 6 weeks, and I did not like it. I felt like I wasn't succeeding there. It wasn't on part of anybody, but I just didn't like it. And then I came back to my company now to be a biller, and that's what I do now. And I actually really enjoy it, and I have goals. My dream job, anything financial, or maybe be like a speech language pathologist, just to circle back, because I think those people are really cool.
Yeah, those are cool.
I actually started school for it like 2 years ago, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to have to get a master's in this, and it's going to be a lot of money. So then I dipped, and then tried to do a business administration bachelor's to finish, and then I just didn't finish. And then, yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing now. But there's so many opportunities for me to go into insurance and credentialing, which is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the job I have now. I think my next question was like,
well, I want to answer mine now.
I thought you already said you wanted to be a comedian.
Yeah. But I didn't get to talk about, you just talked about all your previous jobs.
Oh.
Yeah, now I want to talk about mine.
Sorry, there's no room for you to talk on this podcast. I'm going to be talking the whole time.
It's okay. I'll just kill myself now. So right out of high school, my first job, not my first real job, I'll say, was Hungry Howie's. And I worked there. And I met some really cool people, and some really not cool people.
We all learn. We meet all those people
at
our first job.
My manager was like he was my all-time favorite, but he's still one of my favorite people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just a bad job. I made really good money though. That was the crazy part. Like every day I'd leave that place with at least $300 in cash. So that was like that was the coolest thing about it. Like tips being a pizza delivery guy, if you're like wondering, if you're ever thinking about doing it, do it. Especially if you have the time and like you don't have like too many bills. Oh my God, you're just rolling in cash. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I worked that for like a year, I think, and then I went to the job that I'm at. I went to 2 jobs. I went to the vape shop, which was horrible. That guy was crazy.
Point a gun at you?
Yeah. All for like he told me to like he gave me the wrong thing to put on the sign. He wanted like,
so he's the owner, right?
Yeah, he was the owner, and he wanted me to do like, I put 30%, which is what he told me. But what he then like later on he came back and he was like, it was supposed to be like 13%. And like I was like, you never said that. And he was getting frustrated with me. I was like, that's not what you told me. And it's like, I even told you to write it out, and you're like, no, just put it on the board. And I was like, okay. And I put it, because I thought 30% was high as well. And he was getting frustrated with me, and then he like pulled out his gun. He thought he was like some big ass fucking dude, and like he was just a tiny man. He had like Napoleon syndrome or whatever. Yeah, and he was waving it at me, and I was just like, bro, I was like, oh my god, it's like it's not worth it to die over vapes. Like I was like, and over like 13% and 30%. It's like it just wasn't worth it.
To die for my jewel.
So like the next day, and like that was like, I think that happened like the week I was supposed to get my like get paid, because I got paid bi-weekly there too, because I wanted it to correlate with when I got paid at this other job, which I'll get into in a second. Mm-hmm. And I just left, and I never came back. And he sent me like so many threatening texts.
Oh my god!
He was like, "If I ever see you, I'm gonna kill you." He's like,
oh my god.
He's like,
How old were you?
I was like 19, 20.
Jesus Christ.
I was just like, and I was just
like,
like,
all right, dude.
I just like LOL'd
Cool.
him.
Yeah.
I was like, LOL, you crazy.
Just like trigger him even more.
I was like, LOL, dude, you wild.
Trigger the narcissist. You're wild.
I was like, that's crazy,
That's
man.
funny.
I was like, still got paid though.
Still got paid though.
And now it doesn't exist, because who would want to work for a psychopath?
Yeah, true.
And then, but while I was doing that, because I was working 2 jobs at the time because of the situation I was in, living wise, I was also working for a drug testing company, being their on-site collector. And that was a very interesting job. Saw a lot of dicks that I didn't want to see, let me tell you. Like, anybody who tells you they have a big dick is lying. Like, my God. Like, the small peeners I seen in my life is crazy. But it was cool on the fact that, like, I kind of went around all of Michigan. Mm-hmm. Like, I went all the way up to Port Huron a lot, and I went all the way down to Flat Rock a lot. And I went to Toledo once because I did a lot of work for a railroad company.
Nice.
And it was cool, but it was also like really shitty. Like, I remember my breaking point with it was at this time was they sent me down to Battle Creek.
Yep.
And they told me I had to get there before 3, and they scheduled this at like noon. And at the time where the office was, it was like a 4-hour drive. I was like, I might not make it in time.
Jeez.
So I hustled out of the office, and I got down there, and I made it in time, and the dude didn't show up, and they told me to just sit there and wait because he would be on the next train. I sat there from 3 p.m. all the way to 10 p.m.
Oh my god.
in my car.
Waiting for this dude.
Yeah, just waiting to hear back from the company to let me know that he was there.
That's insane.
So I waited. All I did was watch like the X-Files in my car, and like until my eyes bled.
So cute.
Yeah, and then I get in there, and the first thing this fucking jack-off says to me, he's like, "Oh yeah, I was already here. I was here at 3 p.m. They just didn't tell you." And I was just like, wow. I was like, that's cool. That's awesome. And then that just made me so mad. I'll never forget that.
Boo.
Hate that company.
Jail.
It's just because like, no matter what you do, I'm all for keeping things safe, right?
Absolutely.
But like, every company is not for that. Like, that's the problem. Like, it's just a boys club, you know. Like, who knows what the real reason is why they didn't let him get off to do that. Maybe he like said something to his supervisor. Who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows?
I don't want to speculate too hard on it, but it just causes you to think like, why am I even doing this for you, you know?
Absolutely.
And it was just so unfortunate. And then I had to drive home, and it was late. I was tired. I've been sitting around for hours uncomfortably.
Yeah.
And I was driving home, and I was getting dizzy.
Oh god.
Oh my! I almost crashed my car like 3 times.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's because I was just exhausted and probably like stressed out.
Was that from when you had like the vertigo craziness?
No.
Or was this before?
This was way before.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like, I get home, and then like I didn't go into work the next day, I don't think, or at least I didn't go in. I went in for a half day, maybe like around 1. I remember telling my boss, I was just like, I'm not doing that again. I was like, if they call and you call me and you want, because I was on call for them, that was the biggest issue.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And I wasn't It was worth it because like it was worth it for me because I was paying the bills for a couple people that I was living with, so and like to make sure that I had a roof over my head. I like put up with this, but that was my final straw. I was like, there's nothing that's worth this. Like I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna have this situation again.
So stupid.
And it, like pretty much like every 4 days it was that situation, and I was just over it. I quit the drug testing place, and I went to work because I was offered a job making a little bit more money at the time, to fix up properties for another company, and it just sounded like kind of like have you ever seen Office Space?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, in that movie, there's a guy who works in an office, and then by the end of the movie, he realizes that like he gets a job working outside, and he just is happier. Yeah. And that's basically how I felt. I was like, I've been working in like inside places for like the last like 2 years. I want to work outside. I want to work with my hands. I want to see how I like that. Yeah. So I went and did this, and I lasted about, I would say maybe 9 months. I don't even remember at this point. Maybe a year. I don't really remember. I think it was less than that, less than 8 months. But it was just because again, I just kept falling into situations where it just wasn't working out for me.
Yeah, you're being a people pleaser.
Yeah, exactly.
Really biting you.
Being a people pleaser, and it just biting me, and like not like being told one thing and another thing happening, right? Yeah. And not a big deal. Like I left on good terms with that company. I went to work for Family Video. Yeah. And best job by far I've ever had in my entire life. I love that job so much.
For additional context, I don't want to say I'm not a big movie person, but it's more or less like I am just illiterate in movies. I
just didn't have friends growing up.
What?
I just didn't have friends growing up for like literally 15 years of my life. I didn't have friends. All I did was watch movies.
You moved around a lot.
Yeah, I did.
But yeah, like I never really watched movies, but like I had friends, but I never really feel like I hung out with them all the time because that required me to be driven to places or to have people come and get me, and it just wasn't really working out. So I had a computer at a very young age.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
A computer when I was like 8, so that
my family was poor, Annie.
My family was poor.
We couldn't afford a Wingate, okay?
My dad, you're so funny. You've seen where I lived.
It's a nice house. What are you talking about?
My dad knew this guy.
Let me take you back to my first apartment. We had a little bar in the living room so the fucking ceiling wouldn't collapse.
Oh, nice. Anyways, my dad had a guy that he knew that he called Maniacal Genius.
That's a solid nickname.
Because
again, your dad, 10 out of 10.
He knew how to build computers.
Absolute stallion.
And that was like the first time all of us in my family had ever heard of someone building a computer.
That's kind of cool.
From scratch.
How old would you say you were?
I was in middle school, I think.
That's pretty cool.
Like maybe 6.
That's pretty cool because I really didn't. Because if I'm being completely honest, like I built my computer in my room now, but I didn't really know you could do that until I was like almost 11. I was a sophomore in high school when I realized you could build your own computer. I was like, oh, you don't just buy them? I was like, oh my God, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could just buy parts. We both
sit here with computers that are built ourselves.
Well, I thought the parts that like I saw at like Best Buy were like replacement parts. You know, like I thought everything like you saw what was on the sticker and that's what you got.
That's what. Yeah. So anyway, so he called him Maniacal Genius, and he made this computer for us that we called the Magic Box.
That's cool
because it was so much faster than any of our other
desktop
computers.
Probably had like 8 gigabytes of RAM and just fucking ran like a champ back in 2008 for you?
2009.
Oh wow, yeah, exactly.
So I distinctly remember that timeline because that's Sims 3 came out when my
You were not in middle school then.
No, I was in 5th grade.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I would just gotten to 6th grade and you're a year below me.
I was in anyway. I distinctly remember the timeline because that's when my sister graduated, and I got her Sims 3. My mom paid for Sims 3 for her graduation gift. I think I ended up giving her like money I had saved or something, but I got it for her graduation gift.
Just
and
accept. Just
we would
accept the
take
gift.
turns playing it. Like my dad's Magic Box was also his work computer, so he'd bring it home on the weekends, and then he'd take it with him to work during the weekday.
Gotcha.
So like the weekends were like gaming, like
Nice.
you know, we took my sister and I took turns
solid.
playing Sims 3. So
Yeah. See, we weren't really like a
Iconic
big
game.
PC family. We played the PlayStation 2 like it was no one's business, though.
yeah, so we did that before we got
Yeah.
the desktop, the
But it
customized
just
desktop.
that just stayed. what
PS2
we-
baby,
like,
Lara Croft,
I really
Tomb
didn't
Raider
get
Legends.
into. I only got into PCs because my friends jumped over to them, and then I started to see
Yeah.
the value in them as I saw like when I got more familiar with like Steam,
Yeah.
GOG, and all that, where you can get older games.
Absolutely.
Now I see the value in it.
When I was so
PC is the master
trying to think.
race.
of like my sister went to college in 2009, and they redid her whole room. She used to have like pink wallpaper, and you've met my sister. It's
Yeah.
just not her personality. So that was our first family collective trip to IKEA, and they got some stuff for her, but they also got some stuff for me. So I got a really nice desk, and then that acted as like my school workspace, and then eventually I got a computer that I paid for with my savings. I think my parents obviously paid the majority, but I just gave them what I had, which was like $300 or $400.
Nice.
And then I had my computer, and my sister got a school laptop, but she had downloaded like Minecraft
Hell yeah, dude. Rebel without a cause.
alpha, I think it when it was in its alpha stage, and we.
Oh, I thought you were calling your sister an alpha. I was like, yeah,
She
that's definitely an
is.
alpha move.
Alpha move, dude.
School computer. I'm downloading Craft on it, bro.
Absolutely, dude. So, well, I think she at first had like a demo, and then it eventually came out with an alpha version
Yeah, probably.
that we had all downloaded. But anyways, I digress. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
I think you had another one that you wanted to speak on
Oh, we were talking about movies.
that you don't know them.
I'm just movie illiterate, and I had computers mainly growing up. I didn't have movies.
Oh yeah.
You were like, I
So,
didn't have friends.
that
And
was
I
just
like,
something
I didn't
me-
either, but I just played the
Well,
computer.
the reason I know so many movies is because my mom just let me watch whatever
Yeah.
she wanted to watch, and then
Absolutely.
like if it was something a little more graphic or maybe not for a 10-year-old.
Saw.
Well, I didn't watch Saw. That was my dad. But they explained to me things like they like fleshed it out for me, so I didn't think it was just like she would explain why things would be the way they are in this movie and why like you can't do that or like why that doesn't just happen or whatever.
Gotcha.
And because I remember I watched in 7th grade, my mom showed me Rocky Horror Picture Show. Great film, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I remember I told my 7th grade math teacher that. She's like, "Oh my god, that's a little advanced." I was like, "What do you mean that's advanced? It was a great film." So I was like, "It's a musical." I think actually what I said was like, "It's a rock opera." I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like I got all the music downloaded on my fake iPod right now, dude.
Damn it, Janet.
Yeah, I love you.
But yeah, so you're a big movie
I
guy.
love
So
movies.
working at Family Video, backtracking.
Yes, working. That's where we
Um,
were. Yeah, working at Family
What's your
Video.
favorite?
It was just fun because I love playing the like. I'm trying to find this movie. This happens in it. He's in it, and I'm like, boom,
I got you.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah. They're both agents, and they're both trying to kill each other.
It's like, oh, you want to watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
Yeah.
or This Is War
This is
with
two hot
Chris Pine
actors
and
that eventually become a hot couple and adopt like
who's the guy who
5
plays Bane?
Tom Brady. No, not Tom Brady. Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah, that's another movie
Sorry.
where two spies go after each other. But yeah, it was very. I just loved it. I just loved the atmosphere of it, and like the best thing for me is I was alone a lot of the time. Like I just
Yeah.
was in the store, like surprisingly for a video store in like 2019,
Mm-hmm.
it was still pretty poppin'. Like every Friday and Saturday we had a rush, and it was pretty intense. Like I definitely like rented out a lot of movies. But it was just a lot of fun, you know? Like I could just I just pop in like a movie I wanted to watch, and I just watched the movie and let people help people rent their movies, help people find their movies, and absolutely sell them on everything I needed to sell them on to get my commission.
I don't think that Tom Hardy was Bane.
Tom Hardy was Bane. Can you show me who Tom Hardy is, please?
Yeah.
I want to see who you're looking at. It's in The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, he's Bane.
That's Bane?
That's Bane.
Oh, thank God. I would have been made
well,
fun
you made me
hard
for
by
for whatever
coworkers
reason.
for
Like
that
I
one.
knew you had the first name right, but when you were saying when you were like, I don't think that's Bane, I was like, you had me second guessing me for a second. I was like, I'm almost positive that's Bane.
Pretty sure he's Bane. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah,
Continue.
he was just sauced up, you know.
He was sauced
he
up
was just
with
he was
the
big boy.
muzzle on his face.
He's just big boy.
Big boy.
He's just a big boy.
It's cuffing season. All
But-
girls be needed. I need a big boy. Give me a big boy.
Give me a big boy.
I need a big boy.
Do it like that, big boy. Say big boy.
Big boy.
No, big boy.
No.
Big boy.
Okay, that has to get cut. That
No,
was
no.
uncomfortable.
Say it. Big boy. I need a big boy.
Stop. That's making me really uncomfortable. The way you're like holding eye contact with me while doing that, it's just like the sound is just like not. It's like making my calves tingle, like I'm having like an autism episode.
Big boy.
Oh, I really don't like that at all. Like I feel it in my toes. I really don't
You
like
little
that.
toesies, you little piglets.
I don't like it. You don't like it. It's like nails on a chalkboard. What was your next job?
My next job was I did the underground work for Comcast. Like that one was a little more like rewarding, I would say.
Yeah.
It just another job that just wasn't for me.
Yeah, that's all right.
But I
That was
did
a hard
like it.
job.
I did like
You
it.
were there for a while.
Yeah, I was there. I was there for I think about two and a half
2
years.
2.5 years.
But that one, I liked the job a lot. Like I liked the getting there, figuring out figuring out how we were gonna do it, and then doing it. That was a lot of fun.
Right.
And I also did not mind digging holes.
Mm.
It just got old after a while.
Gotcha.
And then now I'm back working at the drug testing place again.
Is it a different company this time or same company?
Drug testing place?
Yeah.
Same company. Same company.
It's a little bit better now.
Yeah, it's just I just have a better position in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the work a little bit more.
Something that's a little bit more your style.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't
Well, it's just overstimulating sometimes. That's all.
and overwhelming.
Yeah, a little bit sometimes, but that's just more so on like the fact that I'm still learning things that I need to learn.
I'm only really overstimulated by like on Tuesdays, everybody's there in the office, and
Well, some of the people
it just sometimes can get really intense and really loud, and I have to put in my earbuds because it just, with all the work that I have to do, it's not that it's like, oh, I can't work in a noisy environment. It's just I'm having trouble focusing.
Well, just some
type
of the
deal,
problems that
and it's
like
freaking me out.
there's just a lot of people like it's just so weird to me being in this industry, and it's very technology based. And like what's overwhelming to me, since you said that, is the fact that there's a lot of people out there who don't even know how to use their email.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's the part that's overwhelming for me.
Definitely.
I'll have people that are calling into us to get something, and then I had to explain like very fundamental things
Yeah,
on how the internet works
absolutely.
and how their email works, just so that I can even begin to answer their questions
Yeah.
or like help them in a way. And it's just wild to me. Like it's 2023. Is there anything else that you wanted to? No.
I feel like I feel like we're the type of people that we could talk about ourselves for hours to each other.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to our audience.
I think it's just because we're comfortable with each other.
Well, that, and I always go into way more detail than I need to.
This was a more serious podcast than I wanted it to be, but
Well, it's okay.
we
It was a
had goofy.
conversation.
I think we had some goofy
You
moments.
called me a wildebeest at the beginning.
Yeah, you were.
So, I think we're a little silly goofy.
You're one
we
of
can be
those.
serious sometimes.
Savannah. Ba-da-dee, ba-da-da. From The Lion King, bro.
You know, the first time I watched The Lion King, it was in French, in my French class in high school.
You didn't watch The Lion King till high school?
Yeah, it wasn't even in English.
Jesus.
I
You are an immortal idiot.
I am an immortal idiot. I haven't watched a lot of Disney movies. I watched what I felt like. Boo. I deserve that, actually.
Well, I'm not.
I've never watched.
It's not the fact that you haven't seen Disney movies. I don't care that you haven't seen Disney movies. The problem is that you didn't watch like a really like fundamental like piece of Disney.
Bro, I watched Atlantis.
Okay, that's a great movie.
Do you watch Treasure Planet?
Yeah, of course I did. What?
That's a fundamental. A lot of people don't know about that movie. That movie's fantastic.
I know, but all I'm saying is that Lion King.
Oh, well,
you should have seen it when you were. You should have seen it when you were a kid. I don't even know how you missed it.
I don't think I missed it. I just wasn't interested in it. I knew it was around. You know, I had the VCRs and they had the little previews coming soon too on a DVD. You know, they always had.
Yeah, I know.
The different movies. Even Lion King, and I just never really.
I'm just surprised.
Interested.
I'm just saying I'm surprised that it took you all the way to high school to see it. Like I get maybe not seeing it.
It was against my will. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't have. I watched it for the first time as an adult when I was like 20.
Fair enough. I was just saying it's just surprising. That's just one that like a lot of our generation has seen. So it's just weird hearing that you didn't see it till high school, and in French no less.
Yeah.
So like you didn't really understand it.
Yeah. I don't know. Even Jasmine or Little Mermaid. I never saw
Jasmine.
That. Like from Aladdin.
Oh, you
Sorry,
just said.
I was talking about Disney princesses.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Aladdin.
I was like, there's no movie named Jasmine. She's in Aladdin. That's a great film.
I said Little Mermaid, and I was.
But that's only because I like Robin Williams. So.
But I watched Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella.
Beauty and the Beast is great.
And Sleeping Beauty.
Bonjour.
And
Bonjour.
Rapunzel, even though that was more towards the tail end of my childhood.
I never seen Rapunzel. I haven't seen anything since.
That one's pretty good. I saw Mulan. That one's so good.
What was the last Disney movie that I actually watched? WALL-E. No, I think that's Pixar.
That's Pixar. Well, it's Walt Disney's Pixar. So it's Disney, I think. Yeah.
Oh, you know what's a really good Pixar movie? Bugs Life.
That one is
Bugs
good.
Life is so good.
And they have bloopers at the end of that movie, and that one's good.
Yeah, Bugs Life is so good.
That was a good one.
God, I love Bugs Life.
I really like Pixar movies. I feel like their animation style is more what I'm looking for, which is like this weird.
My favorite
3D.
thing about Pixar movies, or at least back when I was a kid, was the shorts in the beginning of the films. That's why I like Bugs Life so much, because the old man plays chess with himself, and that is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I've definitely have modeled my self-worth off of that scene.
Yeah.
Like being able to be comfortable with yourself to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Like I've definitely modeled myself off that, because oh my God, it's so funny, dude. It's so funny.
I think my top Pixar movie is probably like The Incredibles.
Oh, The Incredibles is so good.
And I know Incredibles 2 came out, and I haven't watched it yet because I think people said it was good, but I just don't want that to taint my experience with the regular. That's a comfort movie for me. I'll watch that movie.
I view
that.
So I think the thing with The Incredibles, what you're saying, so the first Incredibles is such an iconic piece of Pixar history, and I think Incredibles 2 is just an addition. It's to be viewed separately from the original. Yeah. Not all sequels have to be direct. You don't have to watch a sequel and be like, oh great, now the franchise is over. It's no, don't just forget that one happened. Yeah. The first one is still great. Yeah. But I think that's gonna do it for us tonight.
Yeah, we've been talking for a while.
Yeah, it's been about an hour.
Yeah.
Well, that was Annie on Immortal Idiots. We thank you for coming here to the studio and giving us your time and telling us a little bit about yourself. And
studio, aka your couch in your apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good time talking.
Yeah, it was fun.
I really enjoyed doing this. We hope you enjoy too, and
that's just
laugh at the conversations that we have.
Just a little bit about us here at Immortal Idiots.
And I'm sure you'll hear more stories as we continue the podcast. Obviously, like I said, we can talk about ourselves for hours.
Yeah, we probably could. The next one we'll have a talking point where it just gets off the rails like we have been with this one, but it won't be about us. It'll be about something else.
Okay.
I don't know what we're going to do yet, but I was thinking we talk about our favorite animals or something like that.
Yeah, we can do a continuation of this podcast, like part 2.
Yeah,
or something.
but just not about us.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was Immortal Idiots. Thanks for tuning in, and have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye.